Hello there, everybody, comic book fans. Welcome to another edition of Comic Book Geezers. I'm your host, Pete Pardo, and my co-host and partner in crime.
Hello, comic book fans. I'm Wild Bill, the Unknown Comic, and welcome back to another edition of Comic Book Geezers. We are doing the tribute to Stan Lee. So we're wearing our black and mourning for the greatest comic book legend of the 20th century, Stan Lee, Stan the Man.
That's right. Stan passed away about, a week and a half or so
ago? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and going to be greatly missed. And it's not like it wasn't expected, because Stan was getting up there in age, and he had been in declining health in recent years, but it doesn't lessen the impact of this cultural icon.
Shock to us all.
Yeah, I mean, he was responsible for jump-starting the comic book industry in a big, big way.
He created so many myths that turned into legends, the characters that he created.
Yep. So whether you're an old-time comic reader and fan like we are, or whether you're someone that just maybe knows, the Marvel comic characters from the movies and is used to seeing Stan show up in this little cameo in every film and wondering, who is that guy? He's a part of everybody, right? He's just, and he's going to be sadly missed. So what we're going to do today is a little tribute to Stan the Man, and
we'll show you some of the things that got him to where he eventually ended up.
Yeah, some of these legendary characters.
How he kicked it off, what he started with. So Pete's going to show you the first thing. Obviously, everybody knows he started writing, and eventually when he got his first gig, I guess you could say, this is it right here. The Fantastic Four was his first creation.
Yeah, this was what put him and Marvel Comics on the map. This was like the super team to end all super teams.
What number is this?
That is number, is that 16, 15?
Does that say 16 up there? It looks like it. I'm reading backwards.
That's the oldest one in my collection.
It is a 16.
Yeah, number 16. So this is what, 1962?
Has to be 63, right? They started in 62?
Yeah.
So if this is 16 months into it, so they're in 1963?
Yep. So, of course, that was a co-collaboration between Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who we'll also mention, and we've also done a tribute on him. Two guys.
Look at the Dr. Doom jaw.
Yeah.
So, the success of that obviously led to the next most successful character, was SpiderMan. And this is something new to my collection this year. This is Marvel Tales, issue number 12, which is a reprint of earlier Spider-Man issues.
Issue number 30. I think this one was, if I'm...
It's in the 30s?
38, I believe.
Do I have it written on the back up there? No?
No. I have that issue back there. It's on the table.
Stan was also responsible for taking existing characters and bringing them into the Marvel Universe under the umbrella, such as Captain America, the Human Torch, Submariner. This is Fantasy Masterpieces. Picked this up at a con for $1.
So, interesting story about the Human Torch. Most people know him, obviously, from the Fantastic Four, but the Human Torch was actually a very popular character, back in the 30s or 40s? Yeah, like a World War II character, as was the Submariner. So, all the three of these characters, it was Stan's idea to bring them back into the 60s.
Let's get them because a lot World War II history was still active, because it was only 20 years after the fact. So, World War II, which was the biggest event of the 20th century. It was still fresh on people's minds 20 years later. And in the 60s, these were some of the three most popular characters, besides Superman and Batman during the World War II time.
And, of course, the Torch this incarnation will go away and be resurrected as Johnny Storm, but occasionally he would pop back in. Yeah. Into Marvel lore.
And how he got threaded into the Fantastic Four was kind of clever.
Yep.
Also, Stan Lee revitalized Thor, another character that wasn't an original Marvel character, the God of Thunder. And I just acquired this today from my partner in crime over here. Thank you, sir. He got his hands on a couple of them, and he had this one. So
every now and then you got to look out for these eBay deals. So I was able to get 3 issues in a row. So this was 111. So 110, 111, 112, and I already had this, but the price for the 3, and I needed the other 2, was so great. I had to pull the trigger, and I knew he didn't have it, so I said, "Hey, it's got to do this." And
it's the oldest Thor in my collection now. Thank you, Peter. Congratulations! Thank you for appreciation. So then we know that Stan Lee also. Another great, lovable character, my favorite comic book character of all time, the Hulk. This is new to my pile recently. This is the first Hulk. As you know, he was in Tales to Astonish with the Submariner. Submariner went to number 1 on his own. When he split, Hulk got 102, which was the next issue of Tales to Astonish. Here it is.
And ironically enough, and we've talked about this before, the Hulk had a prior series that went six issues that just never really took off, and inexplicably.
And he was in the first Avengers, too.
Yes, and he showed up in a couple Fantastic Four issues.
He was a character that just didn't take off in the beginning, but now he's so lovable.
That's right.
Another great classic character introduced by Stan Lee, the Silver Surfer. Again, something new that I've added.
First appearing in Fantastic Four, but then he was so popular, and he was in the Fantastic Four on and off for years.
Sadly, his run didn't last. Only 18 issues, and they're hard to get nowadays, kids. Ooh,
they're worth getting.
Yes,
I got the whole run.
I only have 5 of them now, I think, or 4 of them. I think 4. But this is my 3rd one, actually.
That's your homework, sir. Start whittling that down.
$20, $30 a pop for each one. They're not easy to come by. Especially that one with Thor. That's like $500. No thanks. Another great lovable character of mine, Stan Lee's Iron Man.
That's right.
It's issue 100, anniversary issue.
Look at that cover. That's classic.
Yeah, this is a key, which I'll talk about some other time. It's a key to my heart. One of my first comics, that's what it was. Daredevil, he also created, Stan Lee created Daredevil, the first blind superhero. And that he had trepidations about this character because of the fact that he was blind. He didn't think that this character would be accepted because he was blind, that people wouldn't think he was a believable enough character. But
and now look where we are today, right?
He was able to pull it off. And I just recently got this. I love the Electro factor.
And of course, another creation. This is a Stan and Steve Ditko creation, famous from his run in SpiderMan.
SpiderMan.
Great Spiderman.
Electro. Also, Stan Lee, one of the last super team heroes that he created was the XMen. Here's the 300th issue. It has a hologram. I don't know if you can see the different rainbow colors.
There you go. Okay.
Trying to show it off. A lot of foil there. The last of my X-Men in my collection. Recently got this year. Yeah, you get the idea. It doesn't really show up on the camera too good. It doesn't.
No, not really. Yeah, a little bit there. Yeah, I just caught it there at that angle. Yeah.
On the lighter side of Stan Lee, he had a sense of humor. This is not Brand Ek. I think this went about 18 issues also, I think. I only have 3 of them, but this is issue number 6. A spoof, basically.
Do you know
satire.
who did the cover art to those? I love that cover art of the Not Brand X. So
I'm not sure if it's Steve Ditko.
I don't know.
But you could always look it up.
Yeah.
But it's a spoof on all the characters. This is obviously a wedding scene. Here's another one. I like the King Kong factor.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Who's the guy? There's got Thor, the Thing, Namor.
Who's
Nick
the guy
Fury.
in the helmet in the Baron in the plane? Who is that?
Oh, here I had no idea. Interesting. I don't know who that is. He's got all the important guys are in there. In his hand, in his clutches. He's got the Hulk in his other one.
And then, of course, this is classic for me, having a little Frankenstein touch.
Yeah, look at that.
And not Brand Ek. Look how he did Dr. Doom and Iron Man. But this Submariner,
Daredevil.
I don't know who the hell that is. That's got to be a kid like the Bat Boy or something. Look at how they draw the Thing.
Yeah.
And Frankenstein. And these are 25 centers, and at the time, this is like a double-size issue, because back then comics were 12 cents. So this was like twice as thick. These books, a lot thicker.
So how about some of the sayings that Stan kind of came up with? You know, so there was Excelsior, Nuff said. How about if you were someone who read the letters section, he would always
Stan's soapbox.
Soapbox, or how about the no prize? Right, so whoever guesses this gets a no prize. I used to use the no prize thing for years and years and years. So.
Excelsior was his favorite word.
Yes,
right, because of what it stands for and what it means.
Yep. So curious, any of you viewers, if you've ever met Stan or got him to sign, something at a convention or a con or something like that, it'd be interesting to hear your stories in the comments and feedback section of this video. We'd love to hear everybody's personal stories about Stan, what you thought of him. For me, Marvel Comics has just been such a big part of my life, especially when I was a kid, and it's funny how my life is comics have like bookended my life almost, because it's like, so I started such a big comic fan until I was about like maybe 12 or 13, and then I kind of drifted away for a number of years, and now the last like decade or so I've really gotten back into it, probably more so than I did when I was younger. And
have a better appreciation for it now that we're a little bit older, a little bit wiser.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, I used to just look at the pictures. It used to start with me. I think I've mentioned this story before. I didn't show it, but Iron Man number 18, which was given to me by my Uncle Johnny. When I was 3 years old, I couldn't read, but I could look at those pictures, man.
Right. But now that you're older, you appreciate the kind of storytelling that Stan kind of put in place here, which will never.
And a lot of it was depicted by pictures. Even a kid 3 years old who couldn't read could still look at a comic and look at the pictures and get a gist of the story, what was going on.
Yep.
And that's the beauty of comics, is that between each panel, it's up to your imagination to fill in the blanks. And that's the magic where it comes in. That's the people that don't like comics, that's the part that they don't get. You know?
Yeah, not at all.
So it's comics have a way of reaching beyond the limits of your imagination, and Stan Lee was so wonderful at doing that and opening that door. Yep. So many times he opened that door with all these different characters that we just showed you. It's only the tip of the iceberg, basically, what he's done. But anyway, I'm Wild Bill saying thanks for joining us on this special tribute to Stan Lee, the passing of Stan Lee.
Yep. And
great man.
We'll miss you, Stan. I guess we'll be seeing you in the upcoming Avengers film, and I believe the Captain
be forever in our hearts,
Captain
never
America
forgotten.
Film. That'll be it. Yeah, it's going to be weird not seeing him in
more cameos.
But
it is what it is.
It was a good run.
He had a good life. 94 years. 95, actually, right? He was almost 96.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, God bless Stan Lee. Thank you for everything you've done for us comic book fans. I'm Wild Bill saying thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.